Hey, all right. So a couple things. I always I teach the Star Seeds class down in Charleston at Bliss Spiritual Co-op the second Monday of every month. And of course, we were talking about all this stuff going on with ETs and disclosure, and talking about Trump today said that there's some very interesting stuff in the files. Yeah, so anyway. So it's all coming out. But as many of you know, I am a sound healer. I literally channel pure tones, and I've been called a human singing bowl for 30 years now. The walking Wonkas, little Westling, the Peruvian Westling, uh, the Peruvian whistling vessels, but they're a little bit higher pitched than I am. Those things are a trip. Remember when I was in Las Cruces, New Mexico, and I was going to undergraduate graduate school, we had gentleman Don Wright. He had a set of the Peruvian whistling vessels, and boy, they're like a teapot kettle when they go off, and it puts you in a really instant trance state. So anyway, um, as always at the class, Starseeds class, it's several women. Every now and then, it's a gentleman. Some guys will join us. Usually, it's a handful of women. And of course, I don't know what happens, what triggers it. But all of a sudden, the women are starting to talk about, higher states of consciousness and alternative healing tools, and things like. And women will just they just start talking about stuff like cooking or their teenage daughter or whatever, and it just the focus gets lost, and which in part is on me, right? Okay, and so what I've learned to do when that happens, because it seems to happen almost, I don't know if it's because people get spacey when they start talking about ETs and aliens, but I go into my vocal toning, that pure tone that's it's like 396 hertz. It's an A sharp, and it sounds like an A sharp crystal bowl. Unfortunately, I can't do it now because what it'll do is it'll just cut out for some reason. I mean, I have a Sennheiser microphone, I have a Marantz microphone, I have a Pile mixing board, and I followed every instruction that said how to do this correctly. And it just, as soon as I go into that tone, it cuts out. So so I got into that tone, and of course, I did three tones in a row. And when I really get into it, I can hold the notes for quite a long time. And all of a sudden, everything became still. It became real still. It became real quiet. And that's why sound is such a profound tool for shifting consciousness. It's such a profound tool for awakening and healing. It is really remarkable. And not only did everything become still and quiet because it clears that space so dramatically, uh, everything went into silence. And there was a deep, profound, I mean, it's an instant shift in consciousness. And that's why, Casey, Edgar Casey talked about that sound would be the healing modality of the future. So anyway, this is what I want to talk about today is the power of sound to manifest. Many of you have heard of Wayne Dyer, Dr. Wayne Dyer. I think in 1990 or 91, he recorded the audio program called Meditations for Manifestation. And the idea is that if you know Tom Kenyon does the Garvandana, which is singing hymns. It's calling out the various names of God throughout all religions. I do it all the time. And if you notice, like Yogananda, Sai Baba, Mir Baba, Yeshua or Yeshuva, Baba, Buddha, Krishna, they all have that ah sound in them. And they've shown with an oscillator that when you run the ah sound, and this is based on Hangen cymatics, That when you run sound through sand filings through like a butterfly flower, everything makes a very specific geometric pattern to it. That geometric pattern is the grid of consciousness of that particular thing. Because when we leave, or when, like, people ask about animals, like when a dog dies, they go back to that consciousness somewhat, that grid of consciousness of dogs. And so everything makes a very specific geometric pattern. Well, they found that when they did the ah sound, it made the Siriyantra. The Siriyantra, of course, is the Hindu symbol of God. It is the 27 interlaced triangles. And one of these days, when I figure out how to interact things, I would just put the image up Siriyantra. Siriyantra is the Hindu symbol of God. It's 27 interlaced triangles. It's been around for thousands of years. And so it's the Hindu symbol of God, Hindu symbol of creation itself. Now, the Judeo-Christian Bible, it talks about in the beginning was the sound, in the beginning was the word of God. Hopi legend says that the elders would sing to the crops of corn, and they would produce kernels of corn the size of most men's thumbs. In the book Celestine Prophecy by James Redfield, it says that they would sing to the plants, and the plants would grow. And then you look at also the Hopi legend, Anasazi legend, is that grandmother Spider Woman sung the web of the universe into existence. The word universe means one song, and the word person is Greek for persona, or through sound. So there's this idea that all creation begins with sound. And if you really want to understand why sound is so important, there was a gentleman in Wisconsin, Dan Carlson, and he was a farmer, and his wife, I think, had a tumor, like a breast tumor for cancer, and he found he looked into Rife technology developed by Royal Rife, and running a sound wave through a tumor to break it up. It's kind of the same thing that they do with gallstones and kidney stones. They run sound waves through the gallstone and kidney stone. It breaks it up. So Dan found that Rife technology was very effective for his wife's tumor. And Greg Braden has a video of 3 Chinese Qigong healers using sound and Qigong to dissolve a golf ball sized tumor in about 3 minutes. It's on the sonogram. And so he became fascinated with sound and frequency. And he found that when he ran a 4,000 hertz frequency into the fields, it produced a 400% greater yield. I didn't say 40. When he ran this 4,000 hertz frequency through the field, the crops grew by 400%. And it didn't matter if it was tomatoes, corn, or whatever. And his website is Sonic Bloom. I think it's sonicbloom.org, about using sound. It's what the Hopi and Anasazi elders talked about. Something that we just mentioned in the Celestine Prophecy, about using sound to make plants grow, to make the corn grow. And so it's been around for a long time, this notion that you can use sound. So everything is based on frequency, energy, and vibration. Well, Dan became more and more fascinated with sound, so he decided to measure everything. What was it? What was it? What were frequencies coming out of, like birds and things like that? Well, lo and behold, he found that when birds chirp in the morning, they are singing at 4,000 hertz. So when birds chirp in the morning, they're literally singing life into the planet. When crickets chirp, it's at 2,000 hertz per second. They're closing everything down. So everything is based on sound and frequency. So I know I go all over the place. So go back to Wayne Dyer. So Wayne Dyer's Meditations for Manifestation, the ah sound. And his idea was that you would think of something in your mind as if it was already there. To speak of things that are not as if they already were, to speak of things that are not as if they already were, to think and feel about something that you want in life as if it was already that way. What would your life be like if you already had, how would you feel if you're already this? To take that which is not seen and make it seen, to take that which is not known and make it known. And the idea was to get in your mind into your feeling center in your, or get, visualize your life as if it was already the way that you wanted it to be. And then with sincere appreciation and gratitude for it, you would then do the ah sound, like just what would that be like if it was a millionaire? Ah, ah, ah. And you'd play around with that, and do that for whatever, 10, 15 minutes a day. And the result would be that you would create that would put you in alignment. You'd be in alignment and with what you wanted. And when you're in alignment with something, you allow it to happen. It is revealed back to you in this holographic fractal universe. Well, I played around with this for a while, and I I I didn't get it. I didn't like it. I didn't. I thought this is my ego or whatever it may be. And so I was asking my dreams, what is it that I don't like about this? What is it that's just not, gelling with me or whatever? And so Abrahamics came to me in a dream. They said you have to tweak it. And so this is what I want to share with you. So the first thing is many times we're taught to visualize here in our mind. But if you've ever read the books He, She, and We by Arnold Mindell, which are really good relationship books, he talks about the dreaming body is always on. That dreaming body is always going, and it's always in the feeling state. And if you really want to get into feeling, you have to shift from visualizing in your mind to visualizing in your solar plexus, the will center, the emotional center. So when you start to visualize the whatever, as if your life was already the way it was, from your solar plexus to get to where you're feeling it as if your emotion is already there, that the feeling is already there, the feeling of already having it is there. So you visualize it from your solar plexus area rather than your mind. So it gets you into that state of feeling. And then the oh, I felt like you were forcing it, like it was masculine. The art of attraction, the art, uh, the the deliberate creation process that Abraham Hicks talks about is more about the art of allowing, to allow, right? And you can try this. Think about something that you want in your life, see it in your mind as if it was already that way, have tremendous appreciation and gratitude for it, and then ah, 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 do the ah sound and see what that feels like, right? So go ahead and do that. Close your eyes, go within, see see in your mind your life to be the way that you want it to be, as if it was already that way. Have a sincere sense of appreciation and gratitude for it. And then, ah, you tone that, right? Well, I felt doing it that way is forcing it. So one of the things that Abraham Hicks told me in the dream was to shift from seeing it in your head to again visualizing it in your solar plexus, and then just do a little variation of the ah sound. Ah, ah, ah. See how you're relaxing into it? You're allowing it. You're relaxing into it. You're allowing it. Ah, but it's just saying the ah sound, same vibration. Ah, and try it, and you'll notice the difference is night and day. It feels so much better. So again, the idea is that you visualize your life the way that you want, as if it was already that way, but you visualize it in your solar plexus area, and then you have tremendous appreciation and gratitude for it. And then you do the ah, 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 and you really relax into it. Do that for 10, 15 minutes a day. Do it for 21 days and see what happens. And the old saying is be careful of what you wish for. Be careful of what you wish for. All right. I hope you all play with that, become a conscious, deliberate creator, because that's who you are meant to be. Allow the universe to work through you to be that channel. And, tagging back on the thing I posted on Wednesday, the disclosures of ETs and alien is at hand. All right, y'all. Namaste. Go at peace and do your best. My website is mark-patterson.com. Mark-patterson.com. If you don't put in the dash, you're going to get a famous jeweler in New York City. All right. Have a blessed day.